Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. 16-year-old boy among 4 killed in Central Village police shootout. A 16-year-old boy was among 4 people shot to death in a confrontation with the police in the Central Village St. Catherine community of Windsor Heights yesterday morning. He has been identified as DeAndre Channel, otherwise called Little D, a high school student of Gregory Gully, Mountain View Avenue, Kingston 3. The teen is said to be a top-tier member of the deadly Topper Buggers Gully gang and was a suspect in the February 16, 2022 murder of Ricardo Taylor committed in Kingston East. The other deceased men are Romario Murray Brewster, 24, of Rollington Town, Kingston 3, Patrick Brown, 24, also known as Welsh, of Zambia District, Central Village, and Nigel Choco Adams, 22, from Sarah Street, Kingston 4. The 4 men were fatally shot during an early morning operation in which the police say was a targeted operation. The incident is being probed by the Inspectorate and Professional Oversight Bureau and the Independent Commission of Investigation. World War II bomb discovered in Manchester. Residents with action commended. A World War II bomb was on Tuesday found by a group of men in Newland Close in Mandeville, Manchester, during the excavation of a fish pan. Commanding officer of the Manchester Police Superintendent Lloyd Darby said the bomb was discovered about 1 p.m. and the police later alerted. He said members of the Jamaica Defense Force JDF were subsequently called in by the police, who retrieved the bomb with the intention to have it detonated in Vietnam Field in Clarendon. Darby reported that it is yet to be determined how the bomb, which was seemingly there for decades and buried very deep, got to the location. However, he said the men who found the bomb ought to be commended for their awareness and interest in public safety. These things seem to have a long-term life, and so it was handled very carefully. Not because it is old, it means it can't go off. It may not have gone off at the same power as when it was new, but it could still do damage, he said. Darby added that based on information from the JDF experts, even in its current state, the bomb posed a risk. We are grateful that nothing happened. Higher fuel prices will impact electricity bills, says JPS. The Jamaica Public Service is warning customers that rising fuel prices in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine will affect the cost of electricity in Jamaica. JPS says Jamaica is heavily dependent on imported oil and natural gas for the production of electricity, as well as for transportation and manufacturing. The war in Ukraine means fuel is much more expensive and there is less of it. The prices of both oil and natural gas have increased since last year. They will increase much more now. A higher fuel cost means higher electricity cost. We have to pay more to the fuel suppliers. We have no choice. Fuel makes up about half of our customers' electricity bills, so the changes from one month to the next month can be quite significant, explained JPS Chief Financial Officer Vernon Douglas. Vernon says while the government's plan to cushion the impact of increasing energy costs on the most vulnerable, he is hoping the government will also suspend the fuel and electricity sales tax (GCT) to further ease the burden on customers during this difficult time. JPS says it is also concerned about the possible shortage of fuel for Jamaica. The company says it has started discussions with the fuel suppliers Petrodram and New Forest Energy (NFE) to assist their ability to meet the country's fuel needs. Our suppliers are exploring all options to secure fuel to keep the lights on. This could be a global fuel shortage as sanctions tighten on Russia. As a small country, Jamaica could be badly affected. We all have to work together to get through this global crisis, Douglas stated. Fire destroys 7-bedroom house, businesses on Lyndhurst Road. Several people were left homeless and out of business in St. Andrew on Tuesday when fire of unknown origin razed a mixed-use commercial and residential property at the intersection of Lincoln Avenue and Lyndhurst Road. 5 fire trucks from the Jamaica Fire Brigade responded to the call about 4 p.m. and firefighters were able to bring the blaze under control, but not before some residents suffered severe loss. Everything gone. Nothing at all me no have left, one man who gave his name only as Danny reported. Danny, who said he has lived at the premises for up to 30 years, told reporters that he had left home briefly to borrow a charger and was alerted to the fire as he made his way back to the dwelling. A lady say, "You know see fire over there so, she not even know say ade me a live. And you see, by the time I grab the hose, fire blow through the rooftop already, and me can't even run up to my bedroom to save a pants or a shorts. The fire move like a bullet out of a gun," Danny said. He said all but 2 of the 7 bedrooms in the residential section of the premises were destroyed by the fire, along with a bar, restaurant, and a pet shop. Fortunately, all the pets, including birds and a snake, that had been housed in the shop were saved before it was gutted by fire, residents said. Kerry Gale Forbes, the acting public relations officer for the Jamaica Fire Brigade, said 3 units from York Park and 1 each from Trenchtown and Halfway 3 responded to the blaze. The cause of the damage was not ascertained up to publication time. Trelawney brothers charged for killing uncle granted $400,000 bail. The 2 Trelawney brothers charged for the murder of their uncle in an altercation over a chicken farm have each been granted $400,000 bail. Shamario Green and Mikhail Hayam were ordered to report to the police once weekly, and a stop order was also imposed. In applying for bail, their attorney, Abaddon Foot, argued that his client acted in self-defense. He argued that the deceased was armed with a machete which he raised to inflict injury to the men, but his attempt was taunted by the preemptive strike by one of the accused. He further argued that the accused men were in fear of their lives and acted lawfully. The judge upheld the application and granted bail. The matter is to be mentioned on May 2nd. Clive Clark, otherwise known as Kettle, a laborer of Troy, Trelawney, was killed shortly after 2 p.m. on Sunday, February 20. It is being alleged that he had traveled to his sister's house, where he and his nephews got into a dispute over stolen chickens from the woman's cob. It reportedly escalated into a physical confrontation when Clark allegedly attacked his nephews with a machete and was hit in the head with a plank. Clark fell to the ground unconscious and was rushed to the Percy General Hospital in Manchester, where he later died while being treated. The police were summoned, and upon arrival, both brothers were taken into custody in connection with their uncle's death. Manley Siaga side by side on $2,000 bail. The Bank of Jamaica BOJ will roll out a new $2,000 note in the coming months, 12 years after it first put up the 5,000 bills in circulation, Minister of Finance Dr. Nigel Clark has announced. Clark said the note, which will bear the images of former Prime Ministers Edward Seaga and Michael Manley, forms part of the BOJ's push to make cash transactions more efficient. He said technical studies have shown that there is a need for the introduction of the currency domination between the $1,000 and $5,000 notes. The introduction of a new currency domination allows us to leverage technology and material science improvements and upgrade the family of notes to achieve greater cost efficiencies, said Clark, who opened the budget debate in Parliament on Tuesday. He told Parliament that the BOJ will also be upgrading the look and structure of the current notes to feature all national heroes and deceased prime ministers. The existing 5 banknotes feature only 1 of 7 national heroes and 3 of 4 deceased prime ministers. He said Paul Bogle, who featured in the $2 note until it was dematerialized in 1994, will return to the national currency. The 10-cent coin that bore his image was phased out in 2018. Similarly, he said coins on which Alexander Bustamante, Norman Manley, George William Garden, and Marcus Garvey appeared do not visibly consist within the original intent. This too is an aberration that makes be fixed. These heroes of Jamaica must be permanently placed on our banknotes consistent with the original intent, the minister said. Bogle and Garvey will appear together on the upgraded $50 banknote, while Garvey will appear alone on the upgraded $100 note. Nanny of the Maroons and Sam Sharp will appear together on the upgraded $500 note, Buster Mansley and Norman Manley together on the $1,000 note, while Donald Sangster and Hushero will both appear on the upgraded $5,000 note. The move coincides with Jamaica's 68th year of independence, but Clark said that it is the current structure of the notes which does not allow the durability that prompts the change. He said the current denominations used a mixture of material called substrates, while the $50 and $100 notes utilize a hybrid substrate, a mixture of cotton and polymer. The $500, $1,000, and $5,000 bills are unvarnished cotton. The introduction to a substrate that offers a significant increase of the durability of banknotes will lead substantial benefits as it relates to the average circulation life of banknotes, which in turn will lead to lower order quantities and less frequency relative to current practices, he said. Additionally, Clark said the upgrade of the banknotes will also provide the opportunity to implement enhancements that ensure that the visibly impaired are able to easily identify all. Meanwhile, he disclosed that the government will expend $250 million to Jamaicans who open low-risk bank accounts as it moves to pacify frustration stemmed from increased bank fees. Concerns were raised in January when two of the country's largest financial institutions sought to introduce new and increased fees to customers. Both the National Commercial Bank and Scotiabank came under pressure from lawmakers, the ruling Jamaica Labour Party, the opposition, and thousands of customers over worldwide unpopulated users' fee considered excessive. Clark told the lower house that knee-jerk prices fixing doesn't work, no matter how much you shout or scream, noting at the same time the challenges being faced by financial institutions. He said the government will reduce the counterproductive access tax on retail banks and financial institutions as soon as we can afford to, on the condition that they pass the savings on to consumers. He said too that an amendment of the Proceeds of Crime Act now allows the BOJ to permit the creation of accounts with low risk and less stringent know-your-customer requirements for opening bank accounts, and with a maximum amount that can be held in the account. The accounts will not attract bank fees, Clark announced. Additionally, he said to push take off the accounts, the government will deposit to each of the first 100,000 enrollees $2,500 that will go for the first 100,000 bank consumers who open an account after April 1. The policy of this government is to protect the poor and vulnerable, and we will need result from it and allow anybody to equate what we will want to do with protecting the poor. We will protect the poor and the vulnerable, he said. Added to that, he said that the BOJ's digital currency, JAMDEX, will be rolled out later this year as part of the government's digital transformation of the economy. The digital currency is expected to allow for the remote transfer of funds, Clark said, reducing the hassle of cash transaction. He said the first 100,000 digital currency wallets will, after April 1, receive a deposit from the government of $2,500. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.